Sorry about that. Lost my screen for a while. Hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry about the technical hiccup there just now. Welcome to the second episode of the Strong, Mighty, Enterprising Financial Management Weekly Web Forum Series. My name is Paul Kwan, and I'm the CEO of Cofundr Malaysia. We are a P2P crowdfinancing platform registered with the Securities Commission Malaysia, where we assist micro, small, and medium enterprises to raise financing by connecting them with potentially thousands of investors on our platform at cofundr.com.my. It is indeed my honor this evening to be your moderator. I look forward to having a discussion that is as interesting as the one that we had last week when we talked about budget 2022. For those that joined us last week, we thank you again for your support. I see some familiar names from last week. And if you're joining us for the first time this evening, we bid you a warm welcome. We're confident that today's forum and the upcoming forums will be an insightful and engaging one for you. In the coming forums, we'll be discussing some key financing issues, which many SMEs has ignored. Particularly, it deals with risk management through insurance, where we'll learn some of the key strategies on how to protect your business assets. Especially now in this post-pandemic times, and also the new normal way to pay for it. Following that, we will look at how to leverage on P2P financing as an alternative source for working capital. So if you're looking to raise some working capital or would like to find out more about alternative financing sources, then do register and join us. Now, before we continue, I'd just like to highlight some housekeeping rules. I would like to remind everyone to please mute your microphone if you have not done so. And if you could kindly just turn on your camera for a short while for us to take a group picture, I will certainly appreciate that. Okay, Zach, I'll leave it to you to manage the group photo. Yeah, and throughout the session, should you have any questions, please post it in the chat box, as we will have a Q&A session with the participants after our dialogue. Okay. All right.
Okay, let's have a group photo. Everyone turn on the camera. Oh, I love this pic. It's truly Malaysia pic.
Ooh, nice. Thank you very much.
Has the Secretariat already captured the photos? Can you give a signal?
Just 30 seconds more, capture the rest of the pages.
Okay, good. Meaning that there's a lot of people coming in, so you need to have few screens to capture. Okay, good. I'm still not awake, so my pick today is terrible. I slept at 4:30 this morning.
Wow. You were working until 4:30, or you were doing something else at 4:30?
Too excited
Working.
to talk.
No, because morning had a meeting with Mitty, so I have to prepare well prepared. Yeah.
I see. Oh, okay.
Okay, I think that we have done.
Yeah, we are done.
Okay, great. Okay, let us start. Now, we all know SME is the backbone of our economy. We make up 98.5% of the business establishment in Malaysia. SME contribute almost 39% of gross domestic product, and we hire 66% of the labor force. As such, we need a lot of support to be competitive, not only in Malaysia, but on a global front as well. So now the government is aware of this, and they have placed high importance on SMEs growth by introducing different types of incentives and grants, as we have all seen. The question then is, are you one of the beneficiary of these incentives and grants? If yes, congratulations. If no, then the question is, why not? If you have managed to secure one of these incentives or grants, how has your experience been in applying for it? Was it a straightforward process, or was it a complicated one? Did it take a long time, or it was very efficient? And then once you get it, were you able to claim the amount that was approved? So these will be some of the key topics for discussion tonight. Before I do that, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our distinguished panelists this evening. Tonight, our friend King Tik, hi King Tik, will not be the moderator because I'm stealing his limelight. We need him to be one of the key, because we need him to be one of the key panelists to share his experience on how to increase our chances to get our application approved. So King Tik, if you know him, he needs no further introduction in the SME ecosystem. He's the managing consultant of Bizsphere Brand and Marketing Group, and he was the National Vice President of SME Association of Malaysia. King Tik is in the Industry Forward Technical Committee and has attended multiple engagement and working groups, just like the one that he did today at MITI, and as well with other government agencies. So in short, he's the one that can best connect both the government and the SMEs together because he understands how both entity works. So King Tik, we look forward to your sharing this evening.
Sure.
Okay. Then we have next we have Miss Yip Wai Ling. Hi Wai Ling.
Hi, good evening everyone.
Wai Ling is the brand manager of Bizsphere Brand and Marketing Group. She takes care of the integrated marketing communication campaigns and SME development in Bizsphere. Now, what's interesting is that Wai Ling and her team has facilitated a number of SME applications for grants. That's where she would be able to share some tips on what to do and what not to do. So get your questions ready for Wai Ling. Okay, Wai Ling?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Last but not least, we have Mr. Tan Guan Han. Hi, Guan Han.
Hello. Can call me GH lah.
GH, okay. GH is a
General Hospital, GH.
A lot of them lah, Genting Highland lah, General Hospital lah, whatever you like lah.
Okay. Well, he's a dynamic and capable entrepreneur in his own right. He's the managing director of Sonicon Constructions in Berhad, which is a construction service provider that specializes in non-vibration demolition by using diamond cutting and coring method in Malaysia. His company has applied for several incentives themselves, and he has been successful in his application. So this evening, he will share the good and the bad experience in the application process. Okay, so I'd like to start things off with getting an overview of the grants and incentives available. So over to you, maybe King Tik, perhaps you can enlighten us on what type of incentives and grants are available for SMEs. King Tik?
Okay. Now, thank you, Paul. Before I start about grants and so forth, we have to know that the government has been offering a lot of the incentive to the SMEs. And this incentive need not to be in the form of grant. And for SMEs, in my opinion, we have to look at it from the different format of incentive. Grant is just one of it. So what is grant? Grant is most of the time is that you embark into one project and then you pay for it, and the government will subsidize a portion of the investment to you. So it's a reimbursement basis most of the time, meaning that if the project is 100,000 and the grant approved is 50,000, so you need to complete the project, you spend the 100,000, then the government gives you back 50,000, and you do not need to pay back. So it's not a loan. Okay, so that is grant in general. Then there is loan. Loan, if you go to commercial bank, they will charge you interest in accordance to the base lending rate, and then the rate will definitely higher. But the government also allocated some funds through the organization like the MIDF, BSN, or Agro Bank and so forth, or SME Bank. So these are the entities that will be able to offer SMEs a lot lower interest rate. It can be as low as 2% fixed rate. So that is a special incentive in terms of the loan. But in terms of incentive, it is not just that. Okay, incentive can also cover also in terms of the training and upskilling. For example, different ministry and agency, they offer a lot of the training program to upskill your people, be it from the management to the top management, middle management, to your unskilled workers. So, for example, for the during the MCO, I have been doing the online training, business training for the agriculture industry under Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industry. And it is fully subsidized, meaning that they come for training and it's fully subsidized for them so that they can learn the skills and so forth for them to actually pursue in their entrepreneurship. So that is a training part. Then there are also certain incentive whereby the government offer you in terms of complementary facilities or services. For example, a lot of times if you follow your state government or some of them, you said UPenn, and of the certain ministry, you can go for certain exhibition without paying anything. So you can go and promote yourself, go to exhibition without paying your booth and so forth. So it's complimentary. That is also another type of incentive. Then the other incentive are the publicity. So let's say, for example, sorry, not publicity, in terms of the quality improvement. So like, for example, last time they have this national mark of Malaysian brand. National mark Malaysian brand, they offer the SMEs the services from the CRIM. The CRIM come and audit you, come and give you advice what you can improve and so forth. And then if you achieve a certain level, then they will give you a national mark of Malaysian brand certification. And during that process, you'll be able to learn a lot of the processes, a lot of the best practices and so forth. So please, in terms of the SMEs, there are so many different type of incentive that is relevant to us. And it is very important for us as an SME to identify what we need, what we want, instead of asking what is available out there. There might be 1 million, 2 million grants out there, but if it's not relevant to your business, not relevant to your operation, it's of no use. So this is in terms of generate what is available from in terms of grant and incentive. And for SME perspective, generally you cannot miss a few ministry or agency. One is SME Corp. Number 2 is Matrade. Number 3 is MITI or MIDA and so forth. So these are the few that would have most of the incentive that you can get. Of course, there are more, and we will talk about it later. But that would be my general view in terms of what is available in terms of the government incentive. Paul.
Okay, thank you for that, King Teck. So it seems like there's quite a lot of choices out there and it's targeted for different segments or different purposes. I would like to follow up with Wai Ling. Wai Ling, Bizsphere has been in the market to help SME to brand and to grow, and also you assist them in terms of applying for these incentives and grants. From your experience, or typically, what are the most common incentives that SMEs look for, and why do they look for those kind of incentives?
Okay. If you're talking about the most common grant and incentives that SME look for, I would name it into 3 categories. One is on the advertising and promotion, which is the branding side. Then the second part will be on the digitalization. And the third part is on the machinery and also equipment. These are the 3 areas that most of the SME actually seek for more information from us. So I believe because in terms of these 3 areas is the crucial part for the companies, for the SME to grow in terms on the outreach program, and also to improve their productivity in overall. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Wai Ling. GH, perhaps if you can introduce briefly your company, Sonicon Construction, and tell us which grant you have applied for. How much did you get, if you don't mind sharing? And what did you use it for? Is it one of those 3 things that what Wai Ling has mentioned?
Yes. Actually, I think almost all 3 also kena.
Wow.
I think almost all 3 kena lah. So, okay, anyway, we are in the construction industry. I'm a specialist contractor in the controlled demolition sector. So, so my things will be in, like what Wai Ling has said, digital, in advertising and also in automation. Okay, so I actually received the grant
You
that I
got
applied
three.
was, sorry.
Wow.
I mean three
You got all of
areas
it?
lah, three areas of things.
Okay.
But I actually got 2 times grant. I got 2 times from SME Corp. Okay, one time 200,000, the second time 250,000 lah.
Wow.
So I cannot complain. Around almost $500,000 from SME Corp. Over I think since 2018 and 2020 lah, 2 times lah. Yeah. So yeah lah. Basically, is we did online advertising, we did video marketing, we bought 2 equipments for increased productivity. So yeah, it's what Wai-Ling mentioned just now.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm just I'm just curious. Like for me, as an SME, I'm in the dark about all these grants and incentives that's available. Until recently, King Tik, when I follow your social posting, I see, hey, got this one, got that one, got this one, got that one. So kind of thing. So is the government really promoting this? And then is there a reason why a lot of SMEs out there are still not too sure, not aware of the availability of these incentives and grants?
Okay, for that question, I have to cite the government on that they do promote. Okay, now promoting and promoting effectively, that is 2 separate stories. Okay, now the government do promote, whereby that they actually, most of the grant and incentive, the government make it available in their website. Okay, it's very transparent. All the informations are there. The guidelines are there. The criteria of there, the eligibility are there, and so forth. And a lot of times, these grants and incentive and so forth, they also have outreach program. The outreach program can be before the pandemic. Before the pandemic, they would do outreach program in terms of the seminar and so forth, tour around the Malaysia, together with some trade associations and so forth, to create awareness of them. But it's just that, in my opinion, most SME in Malaysia, we always have the perception that it's too good to be true. That hey, really, government give us money. They got this email. Government wanted to organize one seminar or workshop. Very boring one. No need to go lah. They talk the same thing lah. So don't go. But if you don't go, then you might have missed the opportunity to get to know what is available over there. Then also there are, like for example, Matrix. We always receive the email from Matrix because we are Matrix member. But how often, let us ask ourselves, how often do we open up and read the email that we receive from the government agency? Very seldom. And there are a lot of information over there that is very useful. And of course, that the government don't do a lot of advertisement, put in the billboard, yeah, I have a grant over here, please come and apply. No. But for us, for the government, they have actually informed to us from the using press releases in the paper announcing it. But the details, most of the time, it will be made available in the website. So for us as the SMEs, we need to be more sensitive, more alert towards the government announcement. Go to visit the government website more. Don't go to the Korean drama so much online and so forth. Go to the government website more and periodically look at what do they have in for the SMEs in Malaysia over here. Yeah.
Okay. You raised a very good point. I want to come back to you afterwards on particularly on the attitude or the perception of these seminars and the government throws and all that. But before that, GH, if I can just ask you, in your case, was it like what King Tik say? You go to all the website to do your research, or did someone tell you, or you went to an event? How did you find out about this information?
Oh, King Tik, I think just now you say go to the website more. I think you should set all this as their homepage. Once open Chrome, BT come out, SME Corp come out, every day you see got new things.
Landing page.
Good idea.
Yeah. So anyway, Paul, on your question, actually I didn't know about this. In fact, I don't even know. I mean, because I was invited by Google for an event on the digital side, on using digital or advertising me in the traditional industry. So it was a joint organization between SME Corp and Google. That's actually where I start to get to know about SME Corp. So I asked, the Google staff, I said, hey, can you recommend me to SME Corp or not? Then because I said, I'm also looking for financial assistance. But at that time, I'm actually looking for loan because we have, what do you call that? Some projects going on. So we need some cash flow and all that. So you say, you go and find this guy lah. You go and find this guy. So when I go and find that guy,
talk to us also. Sorry.
At the time P2T not hang yet. Last time not hang yet. Now more hang already. So coming back, then I went and see the guy. The guy also said, you just go to our website and you just apply through website. So actually that's how I start to get to know about. I don't even know the word grant. In fact, I actually Googled. I say, what is grant versus loan? No, loan need to pay back. Grant don't need pay back.
I see.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, you see, just like the point that you brought up just now, King Teck, a lot of my friends, the impression that we have, including myself, is like this one top only, you cannot get one, okay? The impression is very negative one, especially towards all this government incentive program, okay? And then they're going to say it's going to take too long, the process is very complicated, or certain communities cannot get one, or sometimes they even say, hearsay, some corruption involved, or this kind of things, all cannot be substantiated, but this is what the feedback that we gather. What's your view on this? Is it, any truth to this, or, what's your point of view on this?
Now, I can only speak from my own experience and my own encounter throughout these years. I started my business 15 years ago, started my business whereby that is related to grant, because at the time I started off Bizsphere brand and marketing as an advisory on the brand strategies. And when I wanted to do that, most of the companies actually don't have funds for it. So I found out, then I went to Martrade, and Martrade got the brand promotion grant, and we helped them to get a grant to promote themselves. My first client is Mayflower, 2 million ringgit, okay? And when you ask, they say, hey, this kind of grant can get one or not, okay? Yeah, a lot until today, I receive calls and say that the first thing, they normally they will ask me two questions. Okay, number one is that, serious, King Teck, you mean that we also can get grant one? We normally we use our own money, we can get meh? I say, especially sometimes some of the Chinese SME, Chinese SME says, hey, normally it's for Bumi Putra only lah. Malaysian government, you see, most of them is Bumi Putra only. But the thing is that I need to prove them wrong. Why? Because, for example, the brand promotion grant that we help our customers to apply then, I still remember there were 86 companies who gotten the grant. Can you imagine how many of them are non-Bumi companies? Okay, 80 of them are non-Bumi companies. Only 6 companies are Bumi companies.
Yep.
So that has already proven that when there is any incentive available, it's for all. It's not only for certain community. It is actually for all. And I experienced that. So that is the first thing. Second thing is that some of them will ask, hey, King Teck, you sure can get a lot? Hey, I get your services to do it. Do we need to pay anything extra or not? What do you mean extra? Then sometimes we need to drink a lot of coffee, and then my hand will always put down there and so forth. And then, no lah, okay, God. Because from my experience is that I don't even have a chance to have a lunch with any of the officers. I think the most important aspect is that we would need to understand their processes. Why do they come up with the grant? What is the objective of the grant? And then what are the evaluation process? I think that is very, very important. Once we know the process of evaluation, we should be able to submit an application that is sufficient for them. So to answer your question, is that all this bad impression and so forth is hearsay is because that SMEs, they don't try. When they don't try, they say that they tell the friends, no lah, cannot get one lah, no need to go and get lah. So when 1 spread to 2, 2 spread to 8, 8 spread to 16, then that's where that the negative connotation is there, and that is where that they don't get it lah. There are a lot of companies getting the grant, just like 100 like that. You see, 2018 until 2020. Some companies don't even make sales revenue of that 500,000. He got grant of 500,000. Okay,
Yeah,
that is proven that all the communities can get the grant.
I mean, I always believe there's no smoke without fire lah. Maybe, you know, all this negative impression came from, not everybody is like you. I mean, maybe there have been some bad experiences in the past that has translate into this kind of negative perception, and then one spread to another. And I'm glad that you are here to clear this out, to say that, you know, we can actually, you know, it's not certain communities only everyone can get. As long as you meet the requirement and you fulfill the whole application process, then you should be able to get. But your GH, was that your impression before you get the grant? Did you have this impression that cannot get one? But I'm sure you didn't because you still try for it, right?
Okay, I put it this way. I actually didn't have any expectation because you know, I think if you say before I go and really look at it, grant I was thinking it was quite difficult lah. Then I said, never mind lah, just open up and see what's it all about lah. What is this score? What is this? What are the question being asked? Then after that, when I open up, actually it's all very simple questions only and very logical questions. So one thing is also because there's no expectation from my side. This is like, you know, last time when we were young, open newspaper, then got those puzzle you go and submit, then you see whether you can any prize or not So it's that kind of feeling not you just participate but no expectation got them, because we don't depend on this to survive the company. If got, then that is what you call that, extra bonus. So with that but actually, you see, even after I got the approval and also I received the reimbursement, the money. You know, my father also asked me a few times. He said, "Wait, this one gonna give money one I said, no lah, no such thing lah. Gonna give money one, all very clean because we all also apply through. I mean, although I met the person that was recommended to me, I think he was at quite high position, but I think our chat not more than 20 seconds. Everything online, go check online. That was the only reply. So everything also you know, we just do it online just apply.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, my experience 2 times, okay, very clean, very clean process.
Oh, that's very it's good to learn that the process is as such. So you know, if you look at it, then okay, we know that there are a lot of grants and incentives available, like what King Tik mentioned earlier. And the information, to get all this information, go to the respective ministries and look at their website, find out all the information about it. And what you just say, there is a possibility of getting the grant as long as you fulfill all the requirement. Now the question then is, how do we fulfill all the requirement? Because is the application process tedious? Wai Ling, I would like to ask, I mean, okay, I know that Bizsphere assists a lot of SMEs to apply for the grants and all this kind of thing. Question, they can also go direct, right? They can also apply on their own, but they also come to you. So the question is, how does Bizsphere value add to this process overall? What can you do for them in this case?
Okay, for us is that come back to the question is that the SME can always apply the grant directly from the respective government agency, and we always encourage them to do so. But however, there are still companies and the SME will still come back to Bizsphere and ask whether Bizsphere you can help me to facilitate the application process or not. Because the thing
Why do they do that?
Because then
Wait.
Bizsphere know the process well.
Oh,
Because
okay.
yeah, based on our experience, we have helped a lot of companies to go through the application process. So normally what we do in terms of adding value throughout the application process is that first we will make sure the client, we will assess whether they are eligible for the grant or not, and also
Okay.
the activities that they want to claim, whether is it aligned to the grant objective or not.
Okay.
And
Okay.
also we will also review on the feasibility of their investment plan, because sometimes the SME will have a lot of plan, like I want to do this and that, but might not be practical. So we will actually advise them on this as well. Other than that, we will also help them to go through the document preparations, meaning that we will come up with a comprehensive checklist to guide them through in terms of what are the documents they need to prepare, and also what are the certifications they need to obtain first before applying for the grant. And of course, we guide them throughout the process, and also advise them, like, let's say after the submissions, if they have any additional information request from the respective agency, government agency, we will advise them to how to do it as well. So all this is actually our value add to them, meaning that it's based on our experience. We know the process, so we are able to advise them in how to, I would say, increase the chances to get the grant approved. We can't say it's guaranteed, but we increase the chances. Yeah.
Okay, so would this be across the different ministry, different type of grants, you will be able to assist them on this? It's not just, yeah, okay.
Yes.
It sounds like
Paul, can I add on this one? But we what Winding mentioned is very true, that we encourage SME to do it directly, because we have a lot of engagement with the government agencies. We still encourage the SMEs to do it directly, because it's all very transparent. Okay, only if the SME have difficulties, then they will actually come to us, because we actually wanted the SMEs to also learn the process. When we help them that time, we also transfer the knowledge so that they know how to do it by themselves. Yeah.
Okay. So you know, the question lingering in my mind is, you know me lah. I mean, if in my mind is, if I go to Bizsphere, of course it's going to be more efficient because you are already qualifying it. Whether this is something that my company qualifies for the grant or incentive, and then what is the process? You can advise me and all this kind of thing. So, how much does it? What is your cost? How do you charge on this? How much do I need to pay for your services in this case?
Okay. In terms of this, because it would depend on the complexity of the application as well. But over here, we charge two parts of it. One is on the professional fee, meaning that if you need us to help you to facilitate the whole process, we will charge a nominal professional fee. And also, we will charge another performance fee, but the performance fee we will only charge if you get the grant approved. So this is to minimize your risk and also to have a sense of assurance.
I see. Okay, that sounds very fair, because it's like if when I get the grant, then there's a success fee kind of arrangement. Okay.
But today we are not selling our services. Today we are sharing to teach you how to do it by yourself. We are sharing this right now because we really encourage you all to actually do it by yourself. So today is for us to actually share more information so that you all can actually do it by yourself. Okay.
No, I think what's important is to let the audience know that it is to apply it yourself. But if you do need help, there is an avenue, or there's somebody that you can go to that can advise you on what to do and how to apply for it.
But Paul, I have to advise that I still encourage companies to do it by themselves, because all the SMEs need to be very careful, because some companies that we know out there, that they always promises the SMEs that don't worry, we just apply for you and we guarantee that it will be approved and so forth. I have to actually alert the SMEs that there's no such case. Because, for example, right now I sit in the this MITI Industry 4.0 Readiness Assessment Program as a technical committee. So the approval right now in the government agency, most of the time is decided by committees, and not only by one committee, but by several committees, meaning that in each of the committees, there would be a representative from different ministry or different government agencies, including sometimes in terms of the trade association reps is there. So if by no chances that anyone can say that I guarantee that you will be able to get that grant. And so there's no such case, because after this committee has actually recommended your case, it will still go to another approval committee. So we have to actually advise the SMEs to be very, very careful when we wanted to embark in the grant or incentive application for that. Yeah.
I think in short is that the government does not appoint any agents to help them on this. So all the SME have to be aware of this. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's very, very good advice, because a lot of people will take advantage of the situation and come and sell you as promise you the sky and moon, take some money from you, and then they disappear, so on and so forth. So, but then in GH case, GH, you applied on your own. You didn't go to any advisors.
Yeah.
You found out, was it a difficult process? What did you require to prepare a lot in terms of the submission for your two grants that you got?
I feel that actually the way they request the documents or what is supposed to be a process of how we should invest or do something. Okay, you see, the idea is that what is your objective? What do you plan to achieve? You know, what is the amount that you want to do? I mean, what is the amount that you have to invest? So actually, it's the same process. You see, if I go back a bit, you know what? Okay, they ask, you know, why you have to justify not to the grant, not just the grant, but to yourself. Why do you want to invest in this? Why do you want to do this in the first place? Okay, then you tell them,
does it make business sense or not, lah? Yeah.
Correct. Let's say, okay, for my case, I don't. One of the latest project that we did was that we invest in the robotic demolition. Okay, robots. So what's the reason? Because we want to increase productivity. Because we want to use robotics. Because we want to cut down on foreign labors. So actually, I find that you know, when applying grant, all these buzzwords very important one. You know, recently now it's about AI lah, cut down foreign labors lah,
efficiency
increase
lah,
productivity efficiency that those words you pump inside is sure kena one. So that's.
But it's true in your case, right?
Correct. It is. You know, we are replacing 20 manpower with one robot. You know, that kind of stuff lah. So after that, so that is first justifying lah. And second, you want to buy something. This machine costs few $100,000. Definitely, I need to compare quotes. One quote, second quote, third quote. Things like that. So we have to submit the quote to the what do you call that, SME Corp. And then after that, we have to justify why we choose this particular service provider. Is it because they are cheap? Is it because they have service, they have branch and things like that? So
no, because that the company is your wife company.
Hey, okay, guys, since you mentioned all this, I mean, this is a lesson I learned, okay, that when it comes to applying grant, never tell your supplier that you're applying for a grant. Okay, when you get their code, press their target to the minimum. Okay, get the best deal for yourself. Whether you find 2 or 3 suppliers, go through the same process that you're going to do anyway. Because when you tell the minute you tell your supplier, hey, I want to apply for a grant, this one I like that.
You take up the price.
These people that increase the margin by 20 to 30%. So don't do that. Don't tell the supplier until you get the grant. Only you say, okay, I got the grant, so I need certain documentation from your side. That's all. That is when after you sudah tekan dia punya harga lah. So Gerard, I think Gerard Benedict asked a question about this. I hope this answer your questions on what is the plus point on the applications. I think it's about justifying why you need the equipment and justifying why you choose this particular supplier, and then submit the documents that's required now, which is by TT transfer or by online transfer, they want to see it on the statement to prove that you have made that transaction. That is the most important thing lah, to claim the amount. Yeah. So I find that if you ask me whether in terms of effort, you just have to justify why you buy and justify why you choose that supplier. I think that would be very good enough already.
It seems like if you have your business case all figured out, you know, everything is justified and everything, is basically what you're submitting is that your business case, why I'm doing this, what's my, you know, what's the end result, what's the benefit, and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But did I just hear you say, GH, you need to, you buy the machinery already and then you claim from the government? Is that right? In this case?
Okay, I bought 2 machines. First grant buy 1 machine, second grant buy second machine. Okay, first grant was a smaller machine. At that time, because I applied what do you call that? When I applied in 2017 March. Okay, so you know, they didn't call me back for a long time. Then because I need to go in my plan, so I straight away buy the machine already. Okay, in I think early of 2018, I bought the machine, hire purchase. Then after that, suddenly SME Corp called me back one year later, which is 2018 March
1 year later.
1 year later, that time I had no expectation. Then when they come back, he said, "Hey, okay, now it's your turn already. So you know, want to process your stuff already." Then I said, "I also bought the machine already. Can claim He said, "Can, no problem. Can claim." So the first time was we claim after we bought the machine, but so I was quite lucky lah. Okay, but the second time we wait for the approval. Only then after the approval, only we buy the machine, because the second machine was much more expensive.
I see.
Yeah,
Did it take 1 year also, the second one?
Oh, the second, so I have very 2 extremes. The first one, 1 year to get the approval. Second one, 2 months to get the approval.
Wow.
Very extreme
That's a
example.
big-
So I also don't know why. I also don't know how they process lah. But but if Surah dapat tak boleh complain lah.
But Wai-Ling, is that consistent with the SME clients that you assist? Is the approval time, you know, quite varied?
Yeah, I quite varied. But it normally is ranging from sometimes 3 months is the earliest one, then 3 to 6 months, or sometimes up to 1 year as well. Like GH mentioned. Yeah.
Wow.
But can I add over there is that from what I know is that it makes a lot of difference if you delay a few days for you to submit.
Yep.
If you delay a few days, you say that, oh, I delay a few days only, how come my friend got his grant approval in 2 months, my one got approval in 6 months. We just difference of 2 to 3 days only. How come so much different? It will be because the thing is that there are few key criteria over here, the parameters over here. Number one, imagine if the criteria is so loose, most of the SMEs can apply. Malaysia got about 1 million SMEs. Let's wonder, if not only you want to apply grant, other people also wanted to apply grant. Normally, when it's open, there are few thousand of application comes in, right? Normally, like for example, the market development grant right now. I just visited Patrick last month and said they told me that in July you help us to actually promote the market development grant. Thank you very much. I appreciate a lot. But right now we got about 6,000 cases to process, but we have only 5 people. I said, gosh. So they have a lot of cases. Okay, and then that's number 2. The officers that handle your case, whether he's familiar with your industry or not familiar with your industry. Okay, that's another one. So if you late for a few days, you might get your grant approval late for several months one. So we always advise our clients, our branding clients, they always want to do advertisement. So we always advise them, please be prepared before it. Don't just do it last minute. Then you will be able to get it faster. If you delay, if you are slower than other people for 3 weeks, you will get your approval slower for 3 to 6 months already. So that is something that I need to advise the SMEs over here.
Can I add something? Can take?
Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
I think it's like this. Okay, let's say teachers lah. Teachers always like to mark students with all correct one all correct. Okay, they will always do those open the exercise book wow, already half also salah. Yeah, they might this one do later. So I think this is the case with SME Corp or any other also, is that when you submit the first time, the document has to be complete already. If you find this one not complete, never mind. KIV first, go and service those.
Go to the bottom.
Correct, straight away go to the bottom. Even your queue is at the front, straight away go to the back again. I think the documents, what do you call that? The complete document is very, very important.
Yeah, I think we do not assume the reviewer know what is your project about and also your organization about. So make sure that the points that you've written in your application is concise and very clear for them to know what you're trying to say. Yeah.
I see. And completeness of the application is very important, like what Jay is saying.
Yep.
But is there a difference in when you get approval for it and then to actually get the money? Is there a time gap in between, or is this like I get my approval and then immediately next week I get my money, or this kind of thing? I'm not sure how this process is. Can you share some?
Yeah, maybe I share a little bit on the process that I know. But most of the government agency, how they operate is that there are a few teams, they need to go through a different teams. So when you apply that time, okay, there is a team that process your application. Once it's processed application, it goes to the approval committee. Okay, let's say we approve already, then they send you the approval letter. Then you go and execute your project and so forth. Once you executed your project, then you will submit your claim. You put on your invoice, receipt, proof of activities, bank statement, whatever. Then you submit the claim back to the secretariat of the program. The secretariat of the program would review that, make sure that what you do is the same as what you have applied for. You don't apply for A, then you do B, then definitely they will say no to you. But even though that what you have applied and what you have executed is the same, and they review already and everything is okay, they will submit this to their finance side. Their finance side is always auditing. They want to make sure that everything is in accordance to the procedure. The documents are there. The applications and the claim is consistent. So this team who released them, who actually approve the money out, would also take some time. And when they actually approve it, it goes to someone else to actually release the money to you. So this would be the processes. So that's why that the application process, it takes few months. When you claim that time, it's also one of the very important process that you need to take care. If you're submitting the documents that is not complete and so forth, let's say for example you get the grant of 500,000, but when you want to claim, the government says sorry, you can only claim for 300,000 because what you spend is not in accordance to what you have applied, and that is why a lot of companies didn't get as much that they have been approved. So this is a very important thing that the SMEs need to take note of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
actually, the similar, mine is more value not until 300,000 to 100,000 That time I applied for the ISO. So for those who took ISO before, actually at that time, at the early of the year, it was called OSAS 18001. So I applied for that. I was approved OSAS 18001. Then after that, they changed to ISO 45001. Actually, it's the same thing, just different name. Okay, it's all for about safety standard. They did they don't approve that now because they say, oh, this is a different certification already.
Oh, so at the end you didn't get
for that particular section. For that,
wow.
But luckily that one is not the big amount
I see.
So best to what they approve, you do what it is
Oh, that's very interesting. We're almost reaching the part where we're going to ask some questions, attend to some questions afterwards. But before that, Perhaps we can go around the panelists and ask what would be your one tip or a few tips or tips that you can share with the audience if they're interested in applying for an incentive of a grant. Shall we start with you first, Wai-Ling? What would you share as one of the key tips in regards to applying for an incentive of a grant?
Okay, in my opinion, I think the SME will always need to ensure they are eligible for the grant and also ready the relevant documentation and also even certifications and license as well. Because based on our past experience on the BAP 3.0, one of the required document is, the certificate is the SME status certificate. So for that certificate is actually by SME Corp to certify that you are SME status. And it might take about 2 to 3 weeks to get the application approved. So by the time you got the certificate, you might already miss the boat. You already missed the deadline of the grant application. So in my opinion, I think you should always ready that to get all these certifications and also licensing ready before you want to apply any grants or incentives. So it will be more in time to meet the deadline.
Oh, great. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, so, please write in any questions if you have any questions to the panelists. We'll try and attend to those. GH, what do you think? What would be your one tip that you can share with the audience?
I think I shared just now. I want to repeat that again. Don't tell your supplier that you're applying for a grant. I think that one is a very big tip actually.
Yeah, you experienced that already.
Okay, King Tek.
Okay, my thing in terms of the tip for the SME is that please do your planning early, meaning that I would strongly advise the SMEs. Right now is at the end of the 2021 already. We are moving to 2022 right now. Please, you should have, if you do not have a full-fledged business plan, at least you should pen down what would be the probable investment that you're going to make in year 2022. For example, a typical company, you might want to invest into the production, okay? Meaning that I want to enhance my productivity by investing into the machine, for example. Then how much would be needed over there? What kind of machines that you need over there? So at least that you plan that out. Then in digitalization, you're digitalizing your operation. What kind of the digitalization that you want? You cannot say, I want to digitalize. Can I claim or not? Can I get up? No. But what are the expenses that you're going to make? Put it in. Then human resource. Okay. What kind of the training or the upskilling that you need? Then followed by the branding and marketing. You have your production, you have your process done, you have your human resource done. Then you wanted to market your brand and business. Okay. When you want to market your brand and business, are you marketing overseas or are you marketing locally? And whether you're marketing it online or only on the conventional. All this, if you can actually spell it out, then whenever the grant is made available, you would be able to immediately to capture the opportunity. And 2022 is where that government has already announced the biggest budget of all. We discussed it last week. And also, this is the beginning of the 12th Malaysian plan. A lot of the money has been allocated and the government agency is actually formulating the respective program right now. So when they are formulating and it is time for you to get ready what you wanted to spend, once they actually announce it, you are ready to apply. That is very, very important. That would be my one advice to the SMEs over here.
Okay, well, that's very good advice. So guys, get ready first so that when the opportunity comes, grab it immediately. So we will just do a short break. We'll show a video and then we'll come back with, we'll start to address the questions that have been raised by the audience. Okay, Zach, can you cue the video?
With Cofundr SME Working Capital Financing, you can cover your working capital needs, build business capabilities, and support your growth plans. To be eligible, companies must be registered and operating in Malaysia with a minimum operation period of 12 months. To get started, you simply need to apply online. Application is just a few clicks away. You can do it easily without having to visit a branch. The process is fast, simple, and convenient. Upon application approval and successful crowd financing campaign, you will receive the funds in your account. You can then proceed with your plans to grow your business and restructure operations. Thanks to Cofundr SME Working Capital Financing, you do not have to worry about cash flow and your working capital needs. Let Cofundr SME Working Capital Financing give your business a new spark and fulfill your business aspirations today. Visit cofundr.com.my to find out more.
Oh, we lost King Dick. Okay.
No, the
thank you
video is because of me that I need to excuse myself, so I have to play a video so that I can excuse myself.
Okay. Thank you. There's a lot of questions that came in, so we'll get to it. One of the questions from Tan is that he asked, any idea what is the cooling off period for automation grant from SME Corp? Do we know this? Wiley, do you know? Is there an is there a cooling off period for the automation grant?
What does it mean by cooling off? Maybe Tan can actually explain in the chat box when we'll come back to you on the question, because cooling off can mean a lot of things over there. I do not want to misinterpret your question over there.
Okay. Great. Then the next question from Gerard Benedict. He asked GH, what were the plus points, if any, in your application that convinced SME Corp to give you the grant? What, in your opinion, what do you think your plus points?
Oh, actually, just now I addressed the issue already when we were saying that we have to justify why we need that particular investment at the first. Insert all the buzzword AI lah, digitalization, cut down foreign workers, increase productivity, that kind of insight, and also to justify what supplier, why you choose that particular supplier.
Yeah, I think in your case
that the plus point for me, that if I may, I think the plus point for GH over there is that the biggest thing is that when you buy the robotic machine, it can actually have the capability of replacing about 10 to 20 foreign workers. That is in line with the national agenda. Correct. So if you have that kind of things, and it will improve your productivity and less reliance on the foreign workers, and that is what the government wants the SMEs to do. So when you have that, then that would be the plus point, if I may add. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think I just want to say, sorry, add something. It really depends on when are you applying the grant. Okay, because at 2017, 2018, it was more towards for the e-commerce online kind of thing at that point of time. And then at 2019 and 2020, and now it's more towards productivity, automation, robotics, that kind of stuff. So it has to be aligned with what the government wants lah.
The theme of the direction that the government
correct,
yes.
Correct.
Is there any grant for software development currently in this current 1-2 years? Any grant for software development? Faris is asking.
Okay, software development. Now the thing is that there are always grants available. You see, software development, we would need to know what is your expenses. Now, if you say that grant for software development, if you are using your own internal team to do the software development, then no, they won't provide you with the grant. But let's say, for example, is that you are in a tourism business, you need to develop a software to actually register your visitors and so forth, so that you can increase the efficiency and reduce some processes and automate some of the processes, you need to appoint, let's say, appoint ABC company to develop a software that can manage that. Then yes, there will be grants that are available for you to do that, and that will be coming under the digitalization.
Okay, great, thank you. Another quick question here is that maybe Wai Ling can help us on this. Are there any criteria with regards to application of grant? That means you must be a Sdn Bhd, you cannot be a partnership, or you must have certain turnover, or you must at least have a few years track record, or can a new setup company apply? Or is it just like what GH said, as long as I can justify there's a strong business case, I can apply? How is it?
Yeah, I think for different types of grant and incentives, there are different criteria as well. But based on my understanding, most of the time, the basic criteria is that it has to be a Sdn Bhd, you have to be an SME. And of course, another criteria is that your business at least has to be in operation for at least 12 months. That's the basic one, like for the MBG grant, at least 12 months in operation. But for example, for the other grant like PAP 3.0, you need to be at least in the business for 3 years. So it depends on the requirement of the grant as well.
So different grants will have different criteria.
Yes, correct.
So I encourage Sean Lee to, depending on what kind of grant you need, just go and check it out based on the respective ministry. They will define what are the requirements there.
Yeah, most of the informations are made available online.
Okay, I've a very interesting question here from Malik. Okay, this is with regards to the perception that we were talking about just now, the negative perception that you cannot get and all that kind of thing. So Malik says, yeah, there's also this thing about, SMEs in Semenanjung, the states in Semenanjung has a better chance of securing the grants, especially companies in Selangor or in Wilayah, I suppose, in the capital city, versus states like Sabah and Sarawak. Is there any truth to that? Because most of the time, the companies that from the SMEs from Sabah and Sarawak, when they apply, they've been informed that the funds have already been depleted. So they also ask, they're just wondering, GH and King Tik, where are you from? Which states are you from? Okay. So King Tik, do you think there's any truth to that? I mean, especially the one for companies in Sabah and Sarawak.
Okay, now for this one, I would love to answer this because I have made some trips even to the Sabah side to have some workshops together with SME Corp. I think that last 7 or 8 years to have workshops to introduce some of the grants and so forth. Now, what Malik mentioned over there is that the states in Semenanjung, Malaysia get better chance of securing grants. For that question, I would say no. In fact, if you are from Sabah and Sarawak, the chances for you to get grants is even higher than the chances that you would have if you in Selangor. Why? Because most of the grants, if it's under the federal government one, they would like to have an equal distribution of the grant. For example, right now in Industry 4.0, we are handling it. We are actually trying so hard to find some companies in Pahang, Terengganu, Kelantan, and Sarawak to participate in the Industry 4 Intervention Fund because there are no takers. So we wanted to actually get more from these states actually. So for the question one is that if you're in Sabah, Sarawak, in fact, you have a better chance. But yet the problem lies within this. Most of the time, Sabah and Sarawak didn't get the information as fast as the Semenanjung Malaysia companies. That is a sad thing that I have also highlighted. A lot of the Sabah Sarawak companies, they do not have all this information in hand. And even though they goes to the Sabah Sarawak branches of the agencies, a lot of times the agencies over there, they are also not too sure how to go about it because they are not from the HQ. So this is where that the problem lies, and no choice. I think that if you're in Sabah and Sarawak, try to get the information directly from the HQ, and it will actually increase your chances. That I can confidently tell you about that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
I think
So Malik, you have your answer.
you have to use my advice. Set SME call meeting on the website as a landing page. Every time open, okay.
Paul, I think that Tan just now, the question he has actually answered, clarified. Let me have a look. He says cooling off period like year 2017 got automation grant and can apply for another automation grant in year 2018 within 1 to 2 years time. Oh, okay, now I understand. Now, the tactic is this. Number one, most of the grants over here is that if you already got it, unlikely that they will give you the same grant again. Unlikely. Okay, for even for the Guanghan GH, I believe that she's applying for a same ministry, same agency, but different type of grant.
Yeah, right.
If
Two
you
different
are
programs.
applying for the same grant, unlikely that you will get. But what you can do is that, let's say for example, you have automation. Today you apply the automation one from agency one. Tomorrow, immediately, you can actually apply for automation 2 from agency 2. Nothing stopping you from that. There's no cooling period of that. As long as it's exclusive, not the same project, you can do so. Yeah, I hope that I answer Tan's question over there.
Thanks for that, King Tek. Next one, I have Chris Ho for you, King Tek. Is it Mr. King Tek just want to find out from you to see whether we sell equipment overseas, can we apply for grant?
Yeah.
Is there
the question
is there a grant for that? Yeah.
The thing is that, Chris, I really need to ask you. You say that, well, whether is there a grant for that? What are you going to use the grant for? If you say that I want the grant to buy my products so that I can sell it to overseas, of course, there's no grant, meaning that I'm giving you money to do business. There's no grant. But let's say, for example, is that if we sell equipment to overseas market, let's say your equipment is Malaysian made products, and you are selling it. Right now, there is a grant, market development grant. You wanted to apply for the grant, let's say, for example, at this moment until 31st December, if you send your machine, your equipment to the overseas, your logistic cost, you can claim for Matrix, MDG. Number two, if let's say, for example, if you say that, hey, I wanted to promote my equipment in overseas market. Yes, right now there's a grant for A&P up to 70,000 for you to do that. And let's say, for example, you want to sell your equipment to Singapore. You need to go over there to do a trade mission or trade fair. Yes, there's grant for that. So it depends on what expenses that you're going to incur. That is more important.
Okay. Okay, so I have another one here from Gerard to King Tek again. I've been told by Martrade before the grants are only available until the allocation from MOF runs out for the fiscal year. Can you comment on that?
Okay, Gerard. Again, Martrade grants, there are many different grants. There are the digitalization, digital marketing and training grants. There are service export fund. There's e-trade. There is MDG and so forth. Now, when you say that allocation from MOF runs out for the fiscal year, now I believe that what you are referring to is the special allocation, the additional benefit, which is a 5 benefit, including the advertising promotion, the logistic cost, and another 3 I can't remember. Maybe Weiling, if you can remember on that. These few grants is that it's a special allocation only up until 31st of December. Okay, and until the allocation has been used up, correct? Because this is a special allocation, it is one of the stimulus package under the Permacasa that is allocated out. So the answer to you is yes. What Market tell you is yes, that until the grant is finished. But if you submit after January, no. Basically is that if your activities is after January of 2022, they won't allow you. The activities can only be until 31st December.
Okay. Okay, good to know that. Another question from this one is from Keegan. He's asking, the criteria being transparent, being made transparent to the SMEs. I think this is related earlier to the what are the criteria that you need to meet in order to apply for the grants. So Wai Ling, if you can.
Yeah, all the information are actually made available online on the respective government agency website. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very transparent.
Yeah, very transparent.
Okay, one more here is from Kelly. She says she's asking, is it normal to not hear anything back from SME Corp after application is sent during the waiting period of 3 to 6 months? And would it help if we keep following up? This one, GH, GH, you got 1 year, 1 year only they came back to you.
I think for my case, I kena lah, so I guess it's normal lah. More than 3 to 6 months, of waiting but not coming back. But I think if you say, would it help if we keep following up? Not on a weekly basis lah.
Okay.
I think
occasionally lah.
I think occasionally, yes lah. Maybe 2 months once. You just give a talk. Hey, what's my status and things like that. Then they might look into it lah. But because bear in mind, last time when I asked, because the time 1 year later only they approve, I say, wow, you guys very efficient. How come? Why take so long? Then he said, Tan, kita 10 orang. Itu application 1 whole room. So they are very short staff lah in handling all the grants and all that. That's why just now we mentioned the documents has to be complete so that you have to apply earlier so that your thing is at the front and they don't put you at the back. So
I like your teacher analogy there when you say you open up, everything is there, betul, and you get through faster.
Can I have to answer Kelly's question as well? I have a recommendation to you now. Yes, what Guan Han mentioned is that number 1, please do follow up. Very, very important. But if you follow up weekly, they will say that bengang ni tiap minggu wah kacau saja. Okay, don't. Okay, you follow up every month. If you follow up every month, it's not too much to follow up every month. It's okay, and it is encouraged actually. But the key thing is that how do you follow up? Okay, the key ni harus follow up. You don't follow up by sudah approve belum? So lama lah. Wah, please lah, don't lah. Okay, be empathetic and so forth. So basically, what I recommend you all to do is that you can say it differently. Say, hey, selamat petang. Okay, kita sudah submit pada bila, hari tu pada tarikh apa, case saya nombor apa. Is there any other documentation that is missing that you are not clear? Apakah yang kami boleh bagi untuk memudahkan kerja kamu, dokumen apa yang kekurangan. So you do that. So they would want to help you, but if you are not helping them to help you, you are just giving them pressure. It will certainly got the reverse effect of slowing down your approval rate. So please, the way that you do it have to be more tactful. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, this is from Malik for Wai Ling. Say, hi Wai Ling, how to keep our application concise and precise when the volume of questions in the document and paperwork can be quite intimidating.
Okay. We normally say that this application process is simple, but it's not straightforward. So we always recommend the SME to review the grant requirements to see what are the informations and the justifications that the assessor want to see. So you keep it concise and also keep it clear, short and sweet for them to understand what you're trying to apply, and also tell them why do you need this grant for this project. So I think the most important part is the justification part. Maybe Kate, you can add on this as well.
Yeah. I think very important is that you have to make, when you say concise and precise, it's very generic, you see. Concise and precise meaning that concise and precise to the officer, not concise and precise to you.
To your,
When we say
yeah.
concise and precise to the officer, meaning that what you have written there must be understandable, must be easy to comprehend. Because
Yep.
imagine if I am in the medical industry, I submit whatever this machine is going to do with the bits and bytes, chemistry words here and there and so forth. How can they actually understand what do you want to do? It is for whatever chemistry to mix with it, whatever. They wouldn't understand. So you need to actually make it precise and concise in a very layman term, so that they can understand. They are the one who will be taking your case, summarizing your case to be proposed for approval. If they don't understand your case, they will just leave it there, like what GH mentioned. When I have time, I learn about it, then I submit, submit up. So you must make it layman for them to understand.
Yes.
I just give an idea lah, because this is what I did also. Okay, usually when we submit, we need to submit two ways. One is through online, and then one is hard copy. So sometimes by words and pictures, they still don't understand one. So you want to show them the video. So buy a pen drive, put the video inside the pen drive, attach together with the proposal that you are sending up. Then they can see. Then they will see. I think they will appreciate that lah. At least they understand.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. The video will be very, explain everything for them. Oh, good idea. Good idea. Next one, I have Brian. Brian is asking, is there any grant or incentive in applying for financing like P2P? Okay. This one I will just quickly to answer Brian. There is a grant. The government actually have what we call a Bizsphere program, which is a co-investment fund. So how it works is that the government will co-invest in the investment that we host. So let's say we are raising money for you. They will put in $1 for every $4 that we raise. So the government is supporting your financing by investing in you. So this is the MySafe program. And in this budget, recent budget, is that they just waived the stamping fee. The last time when we do, every time we need to send it for stamping, it costs you 0.5% of the loan amount. So in this budget, it's been proposed this stamping fee to be waived for the next 5 years. So the government is supporting the P2P financing industry. And then in addition to the government, of course, Cofundr also provide incentives. So you here, if you want to get a free credit analysis of your company and look at financing, we are offering a free credit report for you. It's value up to $1,000. You just need to fill up the form at the end of the feedback form, and then send it to us, and we will come back to you on that. Okay, so that's our incentive. Next question from Stefan Chu. May I know whether there are any MDG grants for industrial automation at this moment?
Normally for market development grant is because market development grant is more towards the export purposes. So when you say any MDG grant for industrial automation, if you say that if your industry is industrial automation, you wanted to export, you wanted to do marketing for the export, there is grant. But if you're talking about MDG grant for you to buy automation, then there's no. Okay, if you want to buy automation and so forth, I would strongly advise you to take notice of the announcement from the MIDA and also from SME Corp.
Okay. Okay, Stefan actually has a follow-up question, which it says that I understand when we make an application for a grant, so let's say sourcing for a new machinery, is it true when we confirm the actual supplier, right, when we apply, then we are not allowed to change to another supplier later?
Yes. Basically, because when it's approved, all the approved documentation would be kept. And if you change your suppliers in submit, you are not actually implementing the project as what you have submitted. So normally they would reject. But yet, of course, of course, before you implement it, you might wanted to do a special request, and this is depending on them whether they wanted to approve or not approve. Again, that is about justification, but normally they don't entertain that. Now imagine there are few thousands of applications. If half of them always wanted to change, I can tell you that they won't be able to cope. Yeah.
Correct. So best is just stick to what you have proposed and keep through it, see through it. Okay.
Yes.
Kim asks, is the grant only approved for local supplier? Is it possible to apply grant if we are going to order the machine overseas?
Mine is overseas.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
However, what I realized is that SME Corp will always ask, do you have any local supplier? They will still give the preference to that. But if really don't have, only available outside, then no choice lah. They okay also. Same process. They want to see your TT payment to the supplier, and then they will reimburse that amount.
Okay, I have another question here from Crystal. I have my brand registered in trademark. In the trademark, I'm planning to get the advertising grant. Do I need to spend on my advertising first and submit my invoices to obtain the grant, or can I get an immediate 50% grant paid directly to my advertiser?
I think that I have to answer that. Crystal, number one, I would need to know which grant that you're applying for. Different grants got different criteria. Yes. Let's assume that you are applying for the advertising promotion grant under the MDG right now. MDG got one advertising promotion, a special benefit until 31st December. So for the MDG one, you would actually do it first, then make the claim. You do it first, then make the claim, and they will actually reimburse you the 100% of the cost, not 50%. That is under MDG, but the limit is the total limit of the grant is I can't remember how much for the trademark, but for advertising promotion is up to 70,000. But if you are applying for any other grant, okay, then you would need to get your approval first, meaning that your grant application approved first, then only you go and spend it, then pay it, then claim it. So different grant got different criteria. You need to be very careful and read the details.
Okay. I have a question. It's almost 10 o'clock. I have a question from Justin. He asks, thank you for the very insightful discussion. Question for you, Paul. I just wanted to ask, if my business is unable to get a grant, then can we get some kind of financing from Cofundr? Yes, most welcome. I mean, please, if you are looking to raise some money or you need some working capital, do apply to Cofundr. We're more than happy to see how we can assist you. In fact, take advantage of the free financial health report that we are doing. If you submit you fill up the form and submit to us, we can actually tell you what is your financial health and what kind of facility you can get and at what kind of pricing. So, you know, it doesn't cost you anything. It is a free checkup. So once you send it in, whether you, at the end of the day, you apply for financing or not, doesn't matter, but at least you get a free report out of it. So answer is yes. In fact, those that have applied for grants and are waiting for their grants to be dispersed, we can also look at financing you first. So we'll pay you, we'll help raise the money for you, and then you can do what you need to do. And then once you have done whatever you need to do, submit it up, then get the grant money from the government to pay back. So that could be another way where we can help you. Because, I mean, just quickly, P2P is slightly different from banks. So we are a little bit more agile. We can look at situations like this and try and customize it to meet your requirements. So you can talk to us or you can talk to any P2P financier. We are flexible. And you know, we can help you if there's a requirement in this case. Okay. I think, okay, maybe last question, Ting Tik, is it okay?
Yes. I have the time. It's okay. Wai Ling might need to go back soon, but I'm okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, there's a question on, besides SME's COP website, which other website should we check to find out more about grants available? So I suppose this depends on what type of grants, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, Wai-Ling, yeah.
Maybe Matri, MIDA, MIDF, yeah. And these are the few websites, I mean the government agency that we look out to look for the incentive information.
SMEinfo.com, Bank Negara Malaysia, that will be some of them as well. Maybe if you are, okay, again, like what Wai-Ling mentioned, it depends on what you're looking for. Don't just go and scout for grant. Please, I need to advise the company again. Don't just look for grant. Before you look for grant, you need to know what are the investment that you want. Then you can look for it, because I can tell you that
there are a lot of grant out there.
Yeah, their incentive. The last that I know, last time I have a presentation, I can't remember how many. They are approximately about a few hundred programs available that is managed by about 50 over agencies. There are 50 over agencies and there are few hundred programs. You unless that you wanted to be a grant pioneer, there's a saying that there is in the market, there's a word term called grant pioneer, you know, meaning that the SMEs, their main business, their core business is not to just produce products or offer services. Their main business is just to look for grants, one, you know. Okay, and in the government agency, we normally laugh and say, wow, that guy is a grant pioneer, because they don't do business. They always get great grants. These kind of companies never grow because their business strategy is always changing, depending on the way the grants are. So don't do that. So identify what you want. Then when you know what you want, technology side, you go for MOSTI. Digitalization side, you go for MDEC. Export side, you go for Matrade. Manufacturing side, you go for MIDA. If you want to have a capacity building in the SMEs, you go for the SME Corp. So it depends on what you want.
Okay. Okay, I have a couple of questions from Zainal. One of it is, what is the cost of fund raised by Cofundr? Any particular preference in terms of industries? The cost of funds when we raise it depends on the credibility of the company. So we will do a credit assessment on the company, and based on your financial status and also your repayment capability, we will then price you accordingly to the risk. So it ranges from as low as 6% and up to a maximum ceiling of 18%. So usually the cases that we do is around between 10 to 12% kind of per annum rate. That's for Zainal. Zainal also asked this question. He said, usually government agencies will ask for 3 quotations. What if the machine you prefer is the one on the high side compared to the one that is cheaper in this case? I suppose this is again goes back to how you justify it. Am I right, GH?
Yes. One is how you justify it. Second is, I'm very sure there are other European brands or American brands that you are looking for. I mean, there is alternative to the existing machine. 3 quotes ma. So let's say A is from Euro, then you find B or C is also from Euro lah. So not necessarily must be from China ma. Then it's easier for you to justify. Because sometimes the difference of China machine and Euro machine can be quite substantial.
Maybe big difference.
So yeah, I think it's how you choose the right code to be presented.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, last 2 questions. Is there a grant for startup companies currently?
Startup
companies, I'm not too sure, but yes, they are. Okay, for startup companies, most of the time, if you're a Boomi company, there are a lot of loans that you can get. You can go for Tekun. Okay, for startup companies, I believe that MDEC should have some programs that you can actually benefit from. But the thing is that when you are a startup company, even because startup company, the perception is that you just start up, you don't have a lot of cash in hand. Okay, yes, you want to grant to get the cash, but you need to spend first. You need to spend first. So the more direct incentive that you should get for startup companies, in my opinion, is not grant. In my opinion, you get the direct assistance. Like, for example, I would get skill, free training. Okay, I would get subsidized digitalization software. I would get whatever that very direct incentive, not necessary to have grant. Loan, for example, you need the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Last question. Okay, this one, Green Quarter asking, what grant is applicable for website revamp?
Oh God, website revamp depend on how you justify it. Basically, SME Corp, you can apply for it for the business scale-up or BAP 3.0. Even Martrade, you want to do a website for your export purposes, meaning that your website should cater to the export market audience, then you can also do so. Then under the SME digitalization grant under MDEC, you can actually do your website, even the SEO and so forth. Yes, they are. And it's all depending on how much investment that your website can be a 2,000 website, it can be a 200,000 website as well. So it depends on what type of website that you're looking for. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That wraps up all the questions that we have this evening. I'd like to thank Wai Ling, GH, and King Tik very, very much for sharing your perspective for this evening and also answering all the questions that came in. The audience, you heard it. I mean, the grants are available. It's out there. We need to go out there and do our research. And like what King Tik say, what do you want to do? You know, understand your business and then only go and see if there's a grant that matches it, that supports it. And then Bizsphere is advising you to apply directly on your own. And GH is proof of that, it can be done. You know, but of course, you can always go back to them if you need help. But it's there, so take advantage of it. I think King Tik mentioned there are more things coming in the new year. I think there will be more opportunities for us to review. Hopefully, from his effort talking to Martrade and Niti and everything, more benefits will come out. So I thank everyone for attending as well. And for the next seminar, we will be having another forum next week, same time on Wednesday at 8 p.m. again. This time we're going to talk about risk management through insurance, particularly in these times, you know, post-pandemic. We want to make sure that the question is your business asset protected? And then what we'll do is we'll get an expert to share with you on more on strategies on how to protect your assets. You know, what happened if a movement control order is implemented again? Is there any protection for your business interruption? You know, can you get some sort of compensation? Can you ensure that? And if you can, then also how do you pay for it? How do you afford it? Because insurance is a non-income generating expense. But there's a new way to pay for it, and it's through premium financing offered by Cofundr. So we'll share all this with you, all the business strategy on how to mitigate your risk. That's happening on the 8th of December, so do join us on that. There's the feedback, I think there's a feedback form. So if you can, please fill up the feedback form. Give us your thoughts on what we can do better or how we can improve on, or any particular subject or subject matter that you want us to talk about. So with that, I thank you once again and bid everyone a good night. Right? Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
If you all want to know more about the branding and marketing grants and so forth, make sure that you all like the Bizsphere FB page and do be one of the subscribers to our newsletter, because every week we send out the weekly dose of the SMEs newsletter. We compile a lot of the SME issues over there to share it out to everyone. And we really seriously hoping that to see you again next week. And please do promote this event to your friends. If you have benefited last week, you see that this week you benefited again. I'm sure that next week and the following weeks, you would have a lot to gain. So please share it to your friends. I'm sure that it's a worthwhile of your 1.5 hour time. Please come. We are here to share, here to contribute, and hope that we all can grow together after the 2 very, very challenging years. It's time for us to bounce back. Okay. Thank you from me as the organizer of the Bizsphere. We thank you for your participation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well said. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good night.
Right.
Well, how was it? I think that is a good session.
Quite good, very good. A lot of questions come in, and then it even, in fact, they helped me understand the whole process a little bit more, very much better. Now also I got to start looking for grants and incentives and see whether it applies to my business or not.
Yeah, that's why that despite the grants and incentive has been here for so long, I think that the awareness, like what we are doing right here, what we are doing right here is to contribute as many as much information to the SME as possible, because for Bizsphere we have our values that when we do our business, we really need to help the SMEs to grow. We always say that we want to maximize the SME potential. So this is the way that we help lah. So that's why that we came up with this the Strong Mighty Enterprising SME series that we really sincerely hope that it would help a lot of SMEs to go through these difficult times.
No, I think it's good. I mean, what you're doing to sort of, value add to the SME is very important. It goes in line with what we need to do. We've been mandated by the Securities Commission to also talk more about P2P financing, and our target audience is SME,
Yeah.
So then there is that, cohesiveness or that same objective lah. It's the same. We need to also value add to the SMEs and explain to them that apart from banks, because a lot of SMEs out there cannot get financing. And because like it's just like the grants I don't meet the boxes then I won't get the loans from the bank. So in our case is where we can be a little bit agile and more flexible and understand their repayment capability and then all this kind of thing. Then we can grant them the loan. So it's just that a lot of people don't know.
One thing about financing is like this. People don't know they need financing until they get financing.
But Paul, the one that you mentioned, that if let's say for example the SMEs got any grant approval, and they need the funds to actually funds the project, money to fund the project. I think it's something that you really can help the SMEs on that, because a number of the grants approved. What I have, let's say for example today I had a meeting with MITI. There are, I think, about 100 over companies has been approved with the Industry 4.0 intervention fund grant. Okay. But only very minimal of them kickstart the project. Very minimal actually start to claim back the money. The money is there allocated for them, but they have not claimed back the money. And we wanted to know why. And most of them is because that they have not been able to start the project. Why? Because they don't have the fund to start the project.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. That's where we can help. I mean, it's approved already. Then it's just a matter of them, as long as we can assess that they can meet the conditions. This is it's an investment that we can raise. It's a credit that we can do. Definitely.
Okay,
And,
okay.
what
That
is
would be
the
good.
size of this? Usually the grants are what, 50,000,
The grant
100,000,
is 500,000.
500,000? Okay.
500,000. So what happens is that for this grant is very good, from the government, is that this is the first time I see that the government will give you advance money, meaning that if your project is 700,000, they will give you up to 70%. So meaning that it's 500,000. They will approve you the grant of 500,000. But most of the time is that you need to spend the 700,000, everything spent already, then only you claim back 100,000. So in this case, once you accepted the offer from the government, they will give 30% from the 500,000 to you first, for you to kickstart your project. Okay,
So
so
you get
meaning that they will give you
150,000.
150,000 first to kickstart the project, and then the balance you're going to use your own funds and so forth. Then when you completed the whole project, then you claim the balance of the 350,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So that would be the banner, and I'm seeing a lot of them that have not started yet because that they are stuck. Because 70%. When for machine, okay, even the 100, what you get is always 50%, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Wow,
right now it's 70%, you see. So the government is being so generous, but then it's already offered to them, but they are not using it.
Hey, King Bey, just now you mentioned about the 70,000 advertisement fund. That one is under what? MDG?
MDG.
Okay.
MDG, additional benefit.
Okay. Additional activities lah.
Yeah, additional activities. Yes.
Okay.
Only available until 31st December this year. 1 month left.
Oh, I didn't even know got such thing.
Yeah, you didn't ask me for coffee.
I cannot go out.
Do you know that? Do you know that a lot of people when they have coffee with me, normally they will say that, this should not be only coffee. This should be a monthly big meal, because my return on investment for this big meal or this lunch or dinner is definitely 100 times more than my investment on this. The ROI is definitely very, very high.
Tomorrow I'm buying you lunch already. Just now you tell me there's an opportunity there.
You need to take your numbers. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. It has been a very delightful session, and I think the SMEs have actually able to get some insights from us lah. I think I'm very happy with the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Wai Ling.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye.
And Bizsphere team. Right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone who is still in the room. So we will be closing the room in 30 seconds. Okay. I know that you all will miss us, but we are closing the room in 30 seconds. Thank you very much. It's time for me to get my sleep.
Oh yeah, man. You wake up 4:30. All right. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Good night. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.